Call El Reno Airport Authority regular meeting Tuesday, May 12th, 2020. It is 5:30. Roll call, we'll start with Ms. Ryder.
Here.
Trustee Cronister, Trustee White,
Here.
Chairman Robinson,
Here.
Vice Chairman Ballhorn.
Here. Consent agenda. The following items are considered to be routine by the El Reno Airport Authority and will be enacted with one motion. Should discussion be desired on any item, that item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered separately. Number one, approval of minutes of the April 14th, 2020 regular meeting of the El Reno Airport Authority. Number two, approval of contract for aviation fuel with ASAP Energy. Number three, approval of resolution number 20-021, a resolution authorizing persons to transact financial business signatures for the El Reno Airport Authority. Number four, approval of claims requiring trustee authorization for the period beginning April 1st, 2020 and ending April 30th, 2020.
If there's no questions or comments, I make a motion to approve.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. We'll start with Ms. Ryder.
Yes.
Trustee Cronister, Trustee White,
Yes.
Chairman Robinson,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Ballhorn.
Yes. Discussion items. Number five, discussion, consideration, possible action to approve an aviation education grant with the Oklahoma Aeronautics Commission to begin the process of a potential long-term annual program. Jimmy, can you explain a little bit about it?
I'd rather, Mr. Sandage, if he's there, or Matt.
Yes, I can talk about this, or it might be a good time, we've got Adam Ross, our new airport manager, he's in the building, and he should be watching.
Yeah.
I'd like for him to talk about it, and it'd be a good opportunity for him to introduce himself.
That's great.
That would be good.
Yeah, we'd like to, I'm like Matt, we've talked about that before, and I know Timmy was excited meeting Adam, and Adam's did a good job, don't you agree, Timmy? So, Tim?
Yeah, I was very impressed with the progress of things out there, and it was a pleasure meeting Adam. Thanks, doing a good job.
Let's, I think we're gonna go get Adam and bring him in here, and then we'll go over that process.
It's a great looking program.
Does he need the mic?
He's got it.
Yes.
Get right here.
Perfect.
And the bottom line is, Adam, I'm gonna take my mask off just because we're all social distancing at time. We got hand sanitizer and everything else, but go ahead and you can present, kind of tell us.
Yes.
First of all, welcome to El Reno, and we hope everything's going well. And I know Mr. Sandage and myself, along with, you've been working with Kent Legale as acting, or as the assistant city manager, and you and Kent have been doing a great job, and we really are glad to have you. You came from the Oklahoma Aeronautical Association. Did I say that right? Commission. I always say association. I knew everybody looks at me, especially Adam.
Yeah.
But we really appreciate you, and we've already got $30,000 in some grant money and some other thing that we've got reimbursed that you've helped us with. That's really, we're real pleased with the way that you and Kent are working together and the way that you're taking on the airport. So if you don't mind, go tell us a little bit about the process of the grant and go from there.
Yes, so the hidden gem of the Aeronautics Commission is the aviation, I'm gonna take this off as well. The aviation education grant program. The Aeronautics Commission, they dedicate $300,000 of their unappropriated budget for aviation education. So that's very important for the longevity of the aviation industry. And so what I'm proposing here is to have a STEM hands-on annual summer program at the airport. So what that's going to do is I'm going to start small. I'm going to bring out middle school aged students to come out and learn about aviation. So what I'm going to do is have an aviation awareness day. And so I'd like to partner with the EA chapter, the local chapters, and give out first flights and do hands-on activities with the Sooner Flight Academy out of the University of Oklahoma. And this will be a 2-day camp that will be in the summer of 2021.
That sounds exciting.
It's a great program.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any other questions? I think the bottom line is, Adam, we're glad that you guys are going together and you and Ken are working. It's really, you guys are peas and carrots. That's one of the things, the progress of the airport. Timmy, we went out there, Councilman Robinson, I guess, was it last week or the week before? Is that right? Week before. Yeah, about 10 days ago. And we looked around. We have another project that we're working on for industrial use out there that doesn't have anything to do with aviation, which is good for maybe the process. We met Chairman Robinson and myself and Mr. Sandage, and of course Matt and Kent met Senator Paxton out there with a project that we're working on for economic development that could be a real big hope for us if we kind of go with that. But the exciting thing is the new fuel farm's up and operational. We're getting a lot of use out of that. They started the process of removing the old fuel farm, so we're doing that at that point in time. The process of the hangars is going up. It's on track. I think we're kind of have some discussion we're working on this week to finalize some things in order to make sure of that. And then also, like Adam's trying to assess everything, and he helped us with some grant money as far as reimbursement of some $30,000 funds that we didn't have, that Adam helped us get with the help of him and Kent working together on some of that stuff. And then I know Kent and Adam, especially Adam's hands on getting things set up for some tours of other FBOs, offices basically, that we're looking through, that we're in a grant process now to receive up to $1 million, with about a $500,000 matching fund. So we'll get $500,000 up to for free on that project. So really exciting. The airport's doing good, and we're going from there. And I think Timmy or Councilman Robinson, I mean, you were impressed, and I think you and I really, that's kind of one of your passions out there as much as mine, Councilman Robinson. I think that you like the way or direction everything's going, don't you? So
Very, very pleased.
yeah.
And just to piggyback on that, one comment, this is not coming from me, this is coming from our tenants at the airport. They actually have stated to me that the airport is busier now than what it's been in multiple years. And so that is definitely because of some of the recent development, and if we continue to develop the airport, I believe that we can really be that next level airport that we need to be in El Reno. So I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Okay,
Do I have a motion?
I got a motion to approve.
Second?
Have a motion and a second. We'll start with Ms. Ryder.
Yes.
Trustee Cronister, Trustee White,
Yes.
Chairman Robinson,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Ballhorn,
Yes. We'll go on to adjournment. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. It's 5:38. I'll call the El Reno, wait a minute, Municipal Authority.
Recreation.
Recreation.
I'm sorry, I jumped ahead. Let me see. Recreational Authority meeting to order Tuesday, May 12th, 2020. Roll call will start with Ms. Ryder.
Here?
Trustee Robinson,
Yes.
Trustee White,
Yes.
Trustee Cronister, Chairman Ballhorn,
Yes. Consent agenda. The following items are considered to be routine by the El Reno Recreational Authority and will be enacted with one motion. Should discussion be desired on any item, that item shall be removed from the consent agenda and considered separately. Number one, approval of minutes of the April 14th, 2020 regular meeting of the El Reno Recreational Authority. Number two, approval of resolution number 20-022, a resolution authorizing persons to transact financial business signatures for the El Reno Recreational Authority. And number three, approval of budget amendments for the fiscal year 2019-2020 ending June 30th, 2020. Number four, approval of claims requiring trustee authorization for the period beginning April 1st, 2020 and ending April 30th, 2020.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. We'll start with Ms. Ryder.
Yes.
Trustee Robinson,
Yes.
Trustee White,
Yes.
Trustee Cronister, Ballhorn.
Yes. Discussion items. Number 5, discussion, consideration, and possible action to award project K-14 Lake El Reno lift station rebuild.
Basically what this is there's a lift station rebuild that we have out there at the man camp, and we're rebuilding that in order to service the new housing deal back there. But we received money, Marcia, from the developer on that one side, and we're basically upgrading our side to help the RV park, so we're ready to go. Basically, the low bid was Stevenson Septic and Backhoe at $42,000. Is that correct? So we're basically asking to award the bid to Stevenson Backhoe for the low bid, which they received. And the main thing is that they have went through the bid process, and like I said, it's going to help us build that whole area. They had another, how many total, Matt? Was there 120 houses total?
That's been
193.
193 houses, and they're still on go, so.
And the Stevenson bid is the lowest and the most complete bid. We had another one that didn't include the entire project, so it looks like it is lower, but it didn't include the wet well portion of the project, so.
But this includes
This
everything.
includes everything.
This included everything. We went over the whole bid. They include the wet well and everything else.
Okay. Any other comments or questions?
I make the motion that we award to Stevens Tobacco for $42,000.
I have a motion, and Tim, was that a second?
Yes, it was.
Yes, second.
I have a motion and a second. We'll start with Ms. Ryder.
Yes.
Trustee Robinson.
Yes.
Trustee White.
Yes.
Trustee Cronister. Chairman Ballhorn.
Yes. Number 6, discussion, consideration, and possible action to enter into an agreement for the lease of restaurant and bar space located at the golf course facility.
Yeah, basically, everything's kind of basically because the Corona deal's kind of put us in a bind on everything. We had a current lease with another group, they had the license out there, and then the other group took over. We're trying to jump start and get everything going on out there. Basically now we're having tournaments open up. People are starting to go out there and go, and we're having a lot of activity at the golf course. And it's, basically been open for full business as of May the 1st. So we've been operational, been going at that point in time. Now, as of June, because of the governor's staging and everything else, we're basically open everything at full speed. So we have the golf course itself has opened up the tournaments and everything else at this point in time. So we need to get a contract in place. So the problem is we're in a financial downturn. We're paying the bills as it goes right now.
But we've been paying the bill.
We've been paying the bills anyway. That's right. That's right, Chairman. And the bottom line is and you know this, I think we need to, I'd like to at some point in time put it out and get a contract, but this will extend for about, I think, 5 months is what this deal does. December the 1st to get us going. We don't have the time or the wherewithal to get everything going to get it. And I don't want, as we're laying people off or doing some cutbacks ourselves, I don't think the city ought to be in the restaurant and the beer business. And those boys have been trying to do good, and they're taking that process on. We never have had much luck, Roger, with the leases that we've had.
So this is just an extension of what they already have?
This is an extension with another group, but based on what it was with the other ones, and we're not charging any funds because we don't know what it's going to cost, but it's not costing us any different because I don't feel like if we don't have a contract with somebody, then we're going to have to hire people. Well, I don't know about you, but I don't want to hire some people. I don't want to hire more people. We can't hire anybody. The bottom line is to run the beer. So we're letting them take all the responsibility and the chance on doing that.
Which was already in place anyway.
which is already in place anyway, and we're taking the bills
So it's just an extension of what they've already been doing.
with a,
since
with a
the
different
man
group,
came.
with a different group.
Right,
Yeah,
since
'cause
the man came.
That's,
Do you know who the group is?
yeah, it's, I call it the boo guy, I'm not saying it right, the boo guy with the
Yes.
Polish people that.
Okay.
That basically took
The same ones that was hidden here and went in there right after the man camp people.
Well, and they
It's
took
not-
over their contract.
Yes,
So,
they
and
did.
their contract ended, and you and I discussed that, their contract basically ended last week. So we haven't had a time, you know, in order for them to go, the 15th, we have, tournaments and stuff going this week. We have to get somebody in there to run everything. So basically what we're trying to do is basically try to go forward. Matt, am I forgetting anything?
Well, so it's gonna be with a new group, but they're gonna operate under the same name for licensing purposes until they get that switched over. They're wanting to maintain the Epi Heath name.
That'd be Heath, LLC.
Is it Heath Clinton and Hunter Epperson still?
It'll be the same LLC.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll need to cross through that in the lease because we mentioned them individually. Uh-huh.
We're trying to work through that, and just with COVID and restaurants shut down, it was hard to get them, they were, 3 weeks ago, they weren't even sure if they were gonna wanna operate something, that we would be able to open up. Now we know that they can open back up on the 15th. They've agreed to these terms, not yet signature or anything, but to try to maintain that licensing so we can kind of continue business as usual. As of late this afternoon, they're going to operate under the same LLC because that will be what their license is under until their new license comes in.
Right.
They didn't want to apply for a new license last month and then not be able to open until the middle of summer
So-
because no one knew what was going to happen.
So how long have they been in there?
Quarantine.
Well, they've been in there since, December.
December, so they've
And-
already, right.
But like Roger's saying, really, the heat for them had to deal, they took up their subcontractor or them to finish it out.
No,
So,
I understand
okay.
that, but they had, so right now, as of today, they've had 5 months to get a license as of the time they took it over anyway.
And they're working on the license, but like Roger said, we're continuous out until they get that process. Is that right, man?
Okay, so they're just gonna run into the same agreement we had, we'll just have to change the name or something here, Roger?
Like Roger
And
said.
then they'll run it until December 1st.
The lease you have in front of you binds Heath Claiborne and Hunter Epperson doing business as whatever their LLC is going to
That'd be
be.
Heath.
Yeah.
So how is that going to affect them if it's not their company anymore, but it's being ran under the
Well-
same
They're still
LLC?
liable for it.
Yeah, they're still the ones on the line with the way this is
As
drafted.
of right now, until the license, is that right, man?
That's right.
And then I think we'll probably bring something back to you.
There you go. You can do an assignment of the
We're
lease.
doing, we're doing this, and we'll do assignment of the lease until that is. Don't forget, we're doing something to coincide with the liquor law, or the liquor laws, because they're liquor laws now instead of beer license. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah,
I mean, you understand it better than I do.
yep. Okay, so we're wanting to basically continue the contract that we already have with this new contract till December 1st,
With no cost or anything else for them to go ahead and run everything.
which is
So-
the way it was already.
So we're not out any money. And no, it's a little bit different. We had some stuff that we had, but now we've modified this for them to just to run it with no cost to us.
So-
We're paying it. Go ahead.
What's the turnaround for them to get their own licensing?
It can take a long time.
I think that's where we're at right now, Tracy. We don't know what time frame it is. And the other problem is, we're seeing a lot of this, a lot of the state stuff's taking time because they're on furloughs
Sure.
and layoffs, so we don't know exactly how
Normally,
that's
it's
working.
just 45 days, but I can promise you firsthand, it's been 3 months.
Yeah.
But they have,
I'm gonna make a motion to extend the existing lease to December 1st with, Epi and Heath, whoever's got it.
With the new terms.
Yep.
Okay. I second that.
I have a motion and a second. We'll start with Ms. Ryder.
yes,
Trustee Robinson?
Yes.
Trustee White?
Yes.
Trustee Cronister? Chairman Ballhorn?
Yes. Motion for adjournment.
move,
All in favor?
aye.
Aye. Okay. is now 7:50. I now call the El Reno Hospital Authority regular meeting of Tuesday, May the 12th at 5:30 to order. Roll call will start with consent agenda. The following items to be considered routine by the El Reno. I need roll call. Start with Vice Mayor Cronister, Vice Trustee Cronister.
Trustee Ballhorn.
Yes.
Trustee Robinson.
Yes.
Trustee Ryder.
Yes.
Chairman White.
Yes, we'll move on to now the consent agenda. The following items to be considered routine by the City Council, Hospital Authority being acted with one motion. Should discussion be desired on that item, the item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered separately. Approval of minutes of the April 14th, 2020 regular meeting of the City of El Reno Hospital Authority. Number 2, approval of resolution 20-23, a resolution authority to purchase of Transact Financial Business signatures to the City of El Reno Hospital Authority. And number 3, approval of budget amendments for the fiscal year 2019-2020 ending June 30th, 2020. I got a motion by Ballhorn, second by Robinson. Roll call vote start with Ryder.
Yes.
Trustee Robinson.
Yes.
Trustee Ballhorn.
Yep.
Vice Chairman Cronister. Chairman White.
Yes. Okay, before we go on, I do want to kind of update everybody. And once again, I have my mask off because there's nobody in here besides us. We are social distancing, but I do want to go over kind of where we're at as far as the hospital. Roger, we're working through the process. There's some still questions that we have with St. Anthony's. We suspect to get both those answered. We're hopefully trying to close on that hopefully next week. And then also we're going to have a special meeting probably next week or the week afterwards as quick as we can in order to enter to the agreement with the construction management to move forward and start turning dirt. So hopefully we'd like to start turning dirt by the end of the month. And we feel like we can get that process or get close to it. The plans, Mr. Sandage, are currently under review and have basically getting everything out as far as on our side. We have the civils back and some other things that we're issuing. So we have most of those being answered. So we're really getting excited about it. We do have the plans. So we hopefully to let you know that we're going to need to have a special meeting, a real quick meeting, just to enter into the agreement, and hopefully we'll be able to turn dirt or start the process of that with the permits, hopefully by the end of the month, to stay on track.
Thank you.
So I just kind of wanted to bring you up to date on that. We feel pretty confident about that. So, any other questions? Do what, Councilman Robinson?
Thank you for that. I had a couple of questions for people, ones not breaking ground.
I think everybody's kind of had some, kind of where we were. We were waiting on some stuff from the government for the Loma to get that out of the area to make sure that all thing drained properly and everything else. I think we've got the final clear on that. Roger's worked real diligently with the attorneys and the deal. So we've been in the loop to get everything done, and we just want to make sure that we don't that we all do the same motion together. We don't want to make sure that one doesn't do the other, St. Anthony's or us. So we all kind of make the same motion. Okay, any other questions? All right, a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
You got a motion for adjournment? Second, roll call vote, start with Robinson.
Yes.
Are all in favor?
Aye.
There we go. All right, we'll move on to, it's now 5:54, and once again, we're social distancing. There's nobody in the council chambers except us. I'll take my mask off. We have our stuff here. We want to move forward. I now call the municipal authority in order. We'll start with a roll call with Councilman or Trustee Vice. God Almighty, Trustee Ballhorn. Here, Lindsay.
Trustee Robinson.
Yes.
Vice Chairman Cronister. Trustee Ryder.
Here.
Chairman White.
Yes, we got it. All right, we'll move on to new business deletion station agenda time. Are there any? If not, we'll go on the consent agenda. The following items will be considered routine by the El Reno Municipal Authority and be enacted with one motion. Should discussion be desired on that item, the item be removed from the consent agenda and considered separately. Number 1, approval of minutes of the April 14, 2020 regular meeting of the El Reno Municipal Authority. Number 2, approval resolution 20-024, a resolution authorizing persons to transact financial business signatures for the city, or for the El Reno Municipal Authority. Number 3, approval of budget amendments for the fiscal year 2019 to 2020, ending June 30th, 2020, and approval of claims requiring trustee authorization for the period beginning April 1st, 2020, and ending April 30th, 2020.
So moved.
I have a motion.
Second.
I have a motion to second. We'll go on to roll call vote. Start with Robinson.
Yes.
Vice Chairman Cronister, Trustee Ballhorn,
Yes.
Trustee Ryder,
Yes.
Chairman White.
Yes. All right, we'll move on to number 5. Discussion, consideration, possible action to award K-14 Lake El Reno Lift Station rebuild. This was in the
Per authority.
per authority. Thank you, Ballhorn. I got a motion, you said?
Yep.
Okay, I got a motion by Council Ballhorn, a second by Trustee Ryder. Start with Trustee Robinson.
Yes.
Vice Chairman Cronister, Trustee Ballhorn,
Yep.
Trustee Ryder,
Yes.
Chairman White.
Yes. All right, we'll move on to 6. Discussion and consideration of possible action regarding approval of contract of appointment with Matt Sadich to serve as the city manager for the city of El Reno. Basically, you asked me to prepare a group or a contract together. Roger and I did this based on a lot of the contracts we've had, Roger, in the past with all the other city managers that we've done. I will make it known, the salary agreement of Mr. Sandage, he will absolutely, and I've asked him to do it, and he absolutely agrees. He will take a 10% cut, on the salary that he has, that we're going to approve, to basically take the job. He knows that that's fair, and I appreciate him. Him and I, that's one of the things that he discussed and I discussed, and it's important to him to absolutely be a part of the team. Matt Sandage has done a great job. He basically kind of grew up here in the city. He's waited his turn to be this. He's served under 3 city managers, I think. Is that right? Tony, Dan? Well, yeah, and 4 of them, and me, and Mr. Frazier. So, he's served under 4 city managers. He has a degree from Texas A&M. I'm not going to hold that against him. Based in all of the, that's how he came to us as far as the planning department. So I'm pleased to present Matt. This is a contract that I think that both Roger and I looked over. This is right in line with all the other contracts we've done with the city. And we really believe I believe that Matt will do a great job and help us taking this to the next level, and really brings a lot of experience of not just city work where he's worked here in the city of Oklahoma City, but also experience of our community. Matt's been a big process, part of the planning and zoning of the city of El Reno and the growth of El Reno. So I feel real confident that he'll do a good job. So here's what I presented to you, and you might ask me some questions.
Is there a time in here with this 10% decrease that it will be reinstated? Because it's a 3-year contract, that there's room to reinstate that?
But basically, what I want to do now, and I'll discuss all of the furloughs, the 10%.
Okay.
I want to treat, and in the budget process, we're kind of skipping around, but that's a good question. You're on the right track. What Matt Sandage has asked is to be treated like every other employee. So whenever all the other employees come back to that, then Mr. Sandage will too.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So whenever we get everything back in line, then Mr. Sandage will follow everybody else. And that's what he wanted to do. He felt like that's the right and fair way to do it, and I do too. So, and I'll discuss with you kind of my plan of how I want to handle all of this, and, present to you all so you can ask questions when I do the budget process. But to answer your question is, Trustee Ryder, he will be no different than any other employee, whether it be fire, police, or public works. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. And that's per him, and I think that's real fair, and he wants it to be. He is one of the employees,
right.
and he's part of the team.
And you are moving here? Okay.
And Mr. Sandage, bought a house here in town. He has a young family, and like I said, I think it's he's lived here before and moved away when he got another job in Oklahoma City, but then he moved back, and we're excited to have him.
Make a motion, we approve.
Second?
I got a motion we approve, second by Ryder. Roll call, start with Robinson.
Oh, yeah.
Vice Chairman Cronister, Trustee Ballhorn,
Yep.
Trustee Ryder,
Yes.
Chairman White.
Absolutely. Congratulations, Matt. And that'll start June the 1st.
Motion for adjournment.
Yep. I need a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
I got a motion.
Second?
I got a second. All in favor, say aye.
All right.
We are adjourned. All right. It's now 6 o'clock. I now call the El Reno City Council regular meeting of Tuesday, May the 12th, 2020 to order. Roll call start with Vice Mayor Cronister.
Councilman Ballhorn,
Yep.
Councilman Robinson,
I'm here.
Councilman Ryder,
Here.
Mayor White.
Here. All right, Roger, do you mind, once again, we're practicing social distancing. There's not very many of us in the room. I took my mask off because we're working through the process here. But Roger, would you mind leading us in the word of the Lord?
I'd be honored. Please bow your heads. Dear Heavenly Father, we take a moment in our busy day to pause and to praise you for the many blessings that we have, Lord. We thank you especially today for our elected officials and our government employees, our first responders, our medical personnel, our clergy, and all those who are on the front lines fighting the battle for COVID-19 and also dealing with economic stresses. We lift up members of our community who have seen better days but have hope for future days. We thank you for the promise of spring and the hope that it brings with it. We know that in your guidance, things will improve, and with the guidance of our elected officials, things will improve. We ask your continued guidance on our community, our state, and our nation. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Join me in the flag salute, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. All right, welcome back once again. Just to let everybody know, we're social distancing, and we are. There's not very many in here, so we're keeping everything, I guess, spread out, and to let you know what's going on. Before we go on, we'll go on to the proclamations. I want to go on to the first one. This is the Office of the Mayor, 2020 National Nurses Week. And like Roger said, based on the COVA and all the hard work all of our health professionals have done, the nurses and everything else out there, nurse practitioners, everybody's done a great job. I want to make sure we recognize these wonderful health care providers, and we're going to present this to some nurses this week, but it really started a couple days ago and ends, I think, today or tomorrow. Whereas the City of El Reno would like to recognize our local and state national nurses. Specifically on May 6, 2020 through May 12, 2020, nurses across the nation are recognized for their patience, their compassion, and ongoing care of our communities, especially the ones here in our city. Whereas the theme for National Nurses Week is in compassion, expertise, and trust. Whereas our community owes a great gratitude to the community of nurses for their unwavering compassion, selfishness, and dedication for caring for the citizens of El Reno and all they do for our community. I therefore now resolved by the powers vested in me as the mayor of the city of El Reno and all its citizens to hereby proclaim 2020 National Nurses Week in the city of El Reno and urge all of our citizens to be supportive of these wonderful men and women who help provide all the beautiful services for care for us. So thank them very much. And then the next one is 2020 National Police Week. Whereas the City of El Reno would like to recognize our local, state, and national law enforcement, and specifically on the May 10th, 2020 through May 16th, Law Enforcement Week across the national are honored to be remembered of their bravery and their commitment to El Reno and our country. And whereas the National Police Week is designated by President Kennedy in 1962 in conjunction with May 15th being designated as National Police Officer Memorial Day, and whereas our community owes a great gratitude to our officers, to the men and women who put their life on the line every day to help provide the safety and the security that we all deserve and need here in our community, and the police staff for their unwavering compassion, selflessness, and honorable dedication in caring for all the citizens of El Reno. Now I therefore make it reserved that Matt White, by all the powers vested in me, as mayor of the city of El Reno, and all the citizens do hereby proclaim 2020 National Police Week. And I really want to thank all of the city of El Reno police officers for all they do and all their commitment. Once again, they do a great job, and especially in the times that we've been going through right now, we can't thank them enough right now what we're doing. So thank you all so much. All right, now we'll move on to the consent agenda. Consent agenda will always be considered by routine by the city of El Reno. The city council may act with one motion. Should discussion be desired on that item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered separately. The city manager recommends one motion that will appear when we approve. Number one, approval of minutes of the April 14th, 2020 regarding the regular meeting of the City of El Reno Council. Number two, approval of contract for aviation with ASAP Energy per authority. Number three, approval of resolution 20-019, resolution City Council for the City of El Reno recognized Freedom Information Day and Sunshine Week. And number four, approval of the letter of interest for CBGB Supplemental COVID-19 Program. Approval of resolution 20-025, resolution authorizing persons to transfer financial business signatures for the City of El Reno. And number six, approval of budget amendments for the fiscal year of 2019 through 2020, ending June 30th, 2020. Is there any questions? Anybody want to pull any of these? I have a motion for approval by Councilman Robinson.
Second.
I have a second by Councilman Ballhorn. Roll call vote start with Councilwoman Ryder.
Yes.
Councilman Robinson? Vice Mayor Cronister? Councilman Ballhorn?
Yes.
Mayor White?
Yes. All right, we'll move on to E, audience participation. Audience participation per COVID-19 regulations. This item is being temporarily adjusted to accommodate the situation at hand. If you wish to participate, please contact the city clerk by noon on May the 12th, 2020 at the 295-9310 or Lindsay Grigg at lgrigg@cityofElReno.com and provide your name, phone number, email, which has been an item that you want to discuss. If your item's not on the agenda, please provide your brief description of the topic. You may participate by teleconference or in person. You're requested to limit your presentation to 3 minutes. Any item being presented must pertain to the City of El Reno business. This item has been posted per the specifications that our, of course, our trustee, city clerk, Lindsay Griggs, has done to make sure things are working. So it was done last week. Is that right, Lindsay? Okay, do we have anybody callers? Do we have anybody that called into today? All right, do we have anybody outside that's in the audience that would like to speak for the three minutes? This is the emptiest I've ever seen the council meeting before. Once again, to let you know, we are social distancing. I've had my mask off. We washing our hands, but it's just a pretty light crowd in here right now. Any other questions? Anybody have anything? All right. Any other questions? All right, we'll move on. We'll go on to F. Discussion items. Number 7. Number A. I'm just going through all these numbers here. 7A. Hold public hearings regarding the proposed annual budget in the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2020 and ending June 30th, 2021. And B, discussion, consideration, possible action to approve resolution adopting. But let's go on to A. I now consider this public hearing open to discussion of the budget. I now consider this public hearing open. All right, let me kind of, and I think you all read, but I'll kind of go over it, and then we'll kind of discuss any questions or comments. Basically, you've read my cover letter I presented to you. Before I go any further, I do want to all city staff, whether it be Assistant City Manager Legali, absolutely Mr. Sandage had a big part in this, but I do want to personally thank Marcia Leck with her expertise. Marcia has done a great job with this, along with Karen and Lindsay, but Marcia in particular with Matt, we just really have worked real hard trying to present this and go over the numbers. And I know Marcia's real proud of Karen, the deputy treasurer, just to help get the process going. But I can't thank Marcia. I always throw you under the bus, but really I don't know what I could do without you. And I think that really, I've been a part of these budget processes for several years. So we're lucky we got through this. It's pretty tough. It's not one of the best budgets. I do want to make some highlights, that we'll go over, and I'll kind of state those, and then I want to open up for questions. But the bottom line is, here's the typical questions that people are asking. Are we, we did do some cutbacks, but what we've done is our revenue is substantially down. That's the bottom line. We have had preparation of the downcline of the oil field, and going now. Here's some questions I want to answer to people, because people get on Facebook, or people out in public might ask you all, do we have a reserve fund? Yes, we had a very healthy reserve fund, and I will state that in my deal. But if you remember correctly, the current management this time last year wanted a 33% increase in the budget, and I asked the council not to do that until I had time to go over the agenda and present a better budget to you that I felt better to work with the current management. And thank goodness we did that, because we would have been absolutely in trouble. We do have a reserve fund, and we have in the reserve fund we have $5 million basically that we have set aside, and we haven't gone over budget. And we've done improvements just like you would at your house. If you look around, El Reno absolutely looks a lot better every year, because we've basically tried to be stewards of people's money, whether it be parks, more roads, no red water, different things that we've done over the years. Are we there? No. I mean, we've done small improvements, whether it be downtown areas, different projects that we've done. We've cleaned the lake up. A lot of improvements that we've done, and I'll go over some of that real quick in the budget, as far as some of the improvements on a lot of the fire and police side, that we've had a lot of upgrades on a lot of the vehicles and a lot of the facilities that they're in over the years. So it's not like we haven't used the money. We've listened to people. We've tried to do that over the years, and we've really tried to go forward with the whole thing to make it right. So those are some of the questions. Have you all do that? No. We have a carryover of that $5 million, but that currently in this budget is in the next budget. So the next year we're going to have trouble, and we'll kind of talk about that, because I'm using that right now for the budget amendment. And Sam, we've already skipped over your deal.
Oh, thank you.
Sorry.
I totally forgot.
That's okay. Roger took care of you.
Got you covered. Make sure he behaved. You understand?
Yes. Thank you,
Okay.
Sam.
I'm sorry.
No, thank you. So basically in this budget, that's some of the questions that we've done. Here's the other questions. As far as the furloughs, I don't know about the background noise, and I can speak for myself. I'm not going to speak for anybody else. The employees have absolutely stepped up to the plate. We didn't lay anybody off on the union side, because I personally don't want to go backwards, and I'm glad that both unions, and they both have worked real hard with us in order to do that. They both stepped up to the plate. They took a 10% cut. I have made the decision for everybody else, staff-wise, non-union, to take the same cut. So everybody at the city's on the same playing field. There's a little bit difference. We did basically try to keep the same insurance, because we didn't want to have the relief of the employees going through another process of switching. They have Blue Cross Blue Shield. We've changed the plans up to adjust that. We've negotiated some of the stuff down to hardly no increase, and whatever increase it was, we've covered that small increase in order to help the employees ease the pain so they wouldn't have to go through another, smaller cut
Right.
that they weren't used to on the insurance side, which upsets people, and we don't blame. So we're trying to ease the pain. I know it's nothing that anybody wants to do, and when we say they took a cut in pay, the reason why and how we did this was we asked for furloughs, so they're taking 4 hours per week, which is 8 hours per pay period. So basically, they're taking a day off work. The reason why we did that, it does help probably the non-union out, the union out more than anything else. It allows those firemen, those policemen to have certain days that they can, do more work, that they have their side jobs, everything else, that hopefully they can help, raise some money. It doesn't affect them. And we really appreciate, once again, them working through the process with us, along with all the sacrifices the non-union people took. And we're trying to schedule around that. And don't forget, in this budget, based on the layoffs that we did, that we had people that we just basically had to cut certain divisions out. If there was nobody in jail, we didn't, we cut the jailers out. The CDB, for instance, we're not getting hotel motel tax. You saw in the news today, City of Oklahoma City is about ready to open a new convention center, and they just cut their whole staff by 1/3. Did you see that, Roger? Yeah. So they're going through the same process that we are. We're being very proactive about this, and we're being smart about this because we want to be able to hire all these employees back if we can, but we just don't know where the numbers are, period, in the story. I want to get the money back to the employees. So as I've laid this out, basically, we have taken advantage of the COVID money that we have from the federal government. As you recall, near the end of 2019, we were warned. I saw the warning signs of a slowdown in the oil and gas industry. So it's not that we haven't. Everybody says, well, how come we haven't seen this? We knew it was coming down. We knew it was coming to slow down. I mentioned that. We were prepared for that. We have had the emergency fund. We just can't burn through that and not be proactive to go into next year. The bottom line is, by law, we have to have a balanced budget to present to you all. We have to have a balanced budget by state law. So we don't have a choice in order to do and make these decisions. We're assuming growth will be essentially flat last year. Luckily, the budget was reproduced. However, the slowdown in the economy was beyond what we could predict. Prior to presentation of this budget, administration has taken serious measures to reduce expenditure for the remaining portion of this year. Budget as of FYI 2020-21 budget. Administration I've already enacted the following order to reduce expenditures. Initial hiring freeze, reduce on-call time, reduce overtime hours, leverage available COVID-19 resources from the federal side of it. We have closed the city swimming pool for the summer 2020, decreased non-union pension contributions, and absolutely canceled the mayor's youth program employment. Additionally, administration was forced to lay off 19 employees and eliminate 4 positions. These include 17 full-time and 6 part-time positions. Additionally, all city employees were taking 10% furlough until the economic conditions improve. That's everybody. Everybody, once again, thank goodness to the unions and the non-unions have all discussed that, so we don't lose any badges. And we didn't want to lose any shields or badges on this, and hopefully we can hire back some of those employees at certain levels if it comes back. Conditions will improve. We'll have a better understanding how the revenues will impact this pandemic. In addition to the furloughs and layoffs, there is no proposal cost of living raise adjustments, no COLAs, or merit increases included in this year's budget. Once again, we're trying to help our employees by not laying people off, by trying to do the best we can, take the furlough so we don't have to lay any more people off. But we also have to be stewards of the citizens of the community. We have to keep the community going. And once you have budgeted basically a little under $1 million, which we had last year, and the numbers we have right now are right at $700,000 budget is what we have coming in. We don't know what to predict at this point in time. As it comes better, we're going to readjust and reassess that. But we have to prepare ourselves for that in order to do that, in order to be, help the citizens and the employees. The projected revenue for this, fiscal year is basically 58% of what it was received in FY 2019. By January 2021, we'll have a clear picture of how the pandemic has impacted the budget and able to adjust if needed. Additional significant portion of the unappropriated fund balance in the general fund will be utilized to help propose in this order to help present a balanced budget. Marcia and I will absolutely, what we've had done right now on our budget process. Roger, can you turn that down? Basically, what we're doing is basically getting everybody, all the department heads, to get all of their fund balance in. So this proposal says January. My main plan is to do this. We're going to get the fund balance to Marcia. Matt and I will go over that. Matt being the city manager, me being the mayor. We're going to go over and monitor this with Marcia, and hopefully in the next 3 months, hopefully we'll have a better picture of where we are. We don't want to wait all the way to January. Once we get the budget amendments in and the carry forwardovers, and then we see the next couple of months of where it's going to be, that'll give us a better picture of where we're at. What I really want to do is to basically, the main thing is focus on trying to get the money back and quit the furloughs on the union side and the non-union side. I want to treat this as a fair deal. So what I want to do is I want to get the money back to these employees as best we can and still maintain. And then as the money, if the money comes in, then we'll hire more employees back. But I want to really work closely with the budget and the way we have played out, whether Marcia and I have a strategic plan, and Mr. Sandage has been a big part of this. Hopefully we can get these people back to work and get the money. But in those steps, get the money back to the non-union and union employees first, and then as it progresses, start trying to get the people back to work if the numbers improve. Does that make sense?
Walk before we run.
Yeah, that's it. So we really we feel like we have some plans. There are some things that are in favor. We are getting some contracts in, Matt, as far as new businesses coming to take place that we feel good about. That's not going to happen overnight. So we're trying to work on that process. Basically, everything else lays out, kind of where we are. The general fund budget, is $16,770,000. And IRMA is $6 million, and the airport authority is $821,000, and recreational golf courses is basically $1 million. That includes all the parks, and then the $600 for the general public safety fund. We feel like we're trying to get all this in and try to get a proposal for you all to make this work. Marcia and I have prepared this budget with absolute help of Mr. Sandage and Karen. But Marcia and I feel like that this is a good, solid budget to start with that absolutely has to be kept up with in order to go through the process. We're in unusual times. We're in unusual services. When you see Mercy laying, physicians off, when you see other cities going through the same process, once again, we're trying to keep all of our shields and badges and try to keep all the employees we can. We only have a limited money coming in, so we have to watch that coming out. We do need people to get back and shop in El Reno. We need to get the stores to where we can get, downtown and all the other businesses open and move forward and support our local businesses. But we have to be basically absolutely trying to go through the process. So if there's any other questions, let me know. I do want to make sure everybody understands. I took my mask off because we're in here by ourselves. We are doing social businesses and we are keeping our hands washed. So I don't think you could understand me if I didn't. So is there any other questions that we'd like to go over at the budget this time?
No.
Man, that's the best.
Hey, it's a tough time. And I don't envy you guys for having to go in here and make such cuts. But you know what? It's temporary, and I really appreciate the work that was done.
Well, I think it's one of those things. These are tough decisions. We absolutely, once again, I know these were tough cuts. I know, we don't want to do it. But the bottom line is, I think all of our employees are working real hard. And the background noise of furloughs or the way people feel, I'm telling you right now, I can't thank our police, I can't thank our fire, and I can't thank our non-union people I know it's not easy, but I know they understand. It's just like at your house. If you have so much coming in, we have so much going out, we have to adjust that.
I would hope that whenever funds start coming back in, that the first order of business is to reinstate, take away the furloughs for the first responders, for the fire and the police.
I think what we're trying to do is we're trying to do both of them, because don't forget, fire and police haven't had any cuts. There wasn't anybody laid off from fire and police.
Right.
We were laid off from the public works side and the non-union side. What I'm trying to do, Tracy, is I'm taking as a whole, the whole group as a city of El Reno first, because don't forget, we're having the other people doing just double duty work. So we're trying to get this as a whole to basically give everybody the 10% back, not one or the other. We're not trying to separate this out between us versus them. It's all us being the city, because we cut out of the budget on the non-union side $1,660,000 on time and salaries and everything else.
I understand that.
And basically, we've only cut out the $300,000 on that side, so we're overstaffed. So I think what I'm trying to present to you, unless you have something better to present, I'm telling you, we're looking at those numbers. We're taking I want to make sure all the employees get the 10% back at the same point in time, because if we don't look at it like that, then it's not fair to the ones that we had to do more work for on the other side. We're all on the same playing field as the furloughs. Everybody took the 10%, not one group or the other. And the non-unions have not lost any employees or badges on their side. That including dispatchers. So that's what I'm hoping. If you heard my speech, I'll reiterate it again. We think in 3 or 4 months, hopefully, in that time frame, maybe even less, we're going to be assessing this as we go on, but we have to get a couple months, at least 2 months behind us in order to do that. And we have to close out the year to see what the carry forward is. Is that right, Marcia? Am I right on?
That's correct. We're gonna have to look and end our year and see where we're at and then see what happens.
And the reason why we're going this step is we don't want any division. We don't want us versus them. We don't want one department going against the other. This is a major city deal. It's not that one group gets one part of the sales tax and one group doesn't. We all come out of one general fund. So that's what our main goal is, to let everybody to focus on that 10%. I really believe that we're going to work real hard, like I told you, and I'll say it again. We have to get the money back to all the employees and stop the furloughs before we do anything else. That's what our main goal is. But until we get those numbers at that point in time, we can't do that. Unless you want me to adjust anything out, tell me how to do that. But the bottom line is I don't want to start a process of us versus them. We're a city as a whole, and I want to make sure that we stay as a city as a whole, because all of our sales tax dollars comes from the whole city as a whole.
Right, and I understand that. I totally understand that. I was wondering if there is some way to keep track of, are these furloughs going to negatively impact from the first responders, the services that they are able to render to the citizens?
Sure.
And that was my concern.
And what I'm trying to tell you is we have minimal numbers based on what we've had.
Okay.
And we have the operation numbers, and we've gone over that numbers with all the chiefs.
Okay.
And there is some situations to where there might be some downsides on something else. But once again, like I just said, there's going to be cuts in services on mowing. It's going to be hard to do whatever else. We're trying to maintain those services. We've worked through the chiefs and everything else at that point in time. So our main goal is to get everybody the money back at the same point in time. Unless you have something better that I haven't thought of, that's the only way we can do it. But those numbers are based on the minimal services and staffing services that we've got from both the chiefs. Is that correct? Chief Duff and Chief Brown. Is that correct, Mr. Sandage? That's right. Is that correct, Ms. Lett?
Yes, it is.
So basically there might be some adjustments on all that. We're going to have some hiccups, but we're having hiccups on every side of everything, from the water department, from water leaks, everything else. So that's what we're trying to do. We don't know how else to do it besides adjust that out. Does that make sense? I mean, does that answer your question?
It does.
And hopefully, everything will pick up pretty quickly and we'll be in good shape, but could you imagine if everybody didn't all take a 10% what we would have had to do? I'm glad they all did the right thing.
I'm telling you, our men and women,
They
police
stepped
department,
up.
our police department and our non-union, everybody, guys, don't forget, you can't have the people that make the paychecks out. Everybody's on the same playing field. And we take this seriously, and I take this seriously. We did not want to lay anybody off, and we feel like, I feel like personally, and I know Marcia does too, once we get true numbers based on where we economically are, we want to focus on getting this money back as a whole. It's just going to take us a couple of months to get a true picture of where we are, so we don't get in a bind later on and have to do anything else.
Right, and the budget can always be amended as it needs to be.
Absolutely, the budget can, and don't
Hopefully,
forget,
everybody's gonna run out and spend a bunch of money and we'll be back in good shape.
and let's talk about that. I will tell you this: if you look at this budget, we have very little capital in the budget. I do have some plans to present to you in a couple months that we can hopefully do to help us have some relief. Those aren't done yet, so I can't include those in those budget. Does that make sense? But I'm doing this in mind, once again, to get the money back to these employees, to get them back to 100% pay as quick as I can, and also in order to get more employees, hired back as we can gradually based on the budget we have.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay, I want to make sure there's any other questions.
You're still in your public.
Oh, yes,
Yeah,
sorry.
Yeah, we're still there. Is there any other questions? Once again, I'm telling you right now, we have the best city employees, and I know you all know that. I don't think there's anybody up here that disagrees with that. And as far as furloughs, all these discussions with these employees were all done before. They were all done weeks ago. And I cannot thank the unions enough. I cannot thank the non-union employees enough for everybody stepping up in order to understanding it's no different than your household. If you got money coming in, you got money going out, it has to match up. And by state law, we have to do that. And I do want to make it clear. I've been acting city manager, and this is probably one of the toughest times being the mayor / acting city managers I can ever imagine. I mean, I don't think I think I'll go down in the history books as being, I cannot thank the staff for all they do. And I don't take a pay for this because I respect the people that work for us so much, especially the ones that give so much. I'm so glad the unions did not, on the police side, wanted to keep the people that just got trained instead of lay them off. That was their decision to do that. Yeah. I thank the the fire unions for basically saying we want this next generation. We're going to take the furloughs, even though this is tough. We understand. And their union voted and decided just like the policemen did in order to take that because they saw what we need to do to keep going. And I commend them. All the city staff who's taken a cut, and we had to do the layoffs. Those were tough on the layoff side. The furloughs, they've taken, and every department basically is glad to have their job. They want to work forward. They understood they took the good and the bad over the years, but they want to move forward and they want to serve the citizens. I can't tell you how much it's a pleasure working with all these groups in order to do this. And this has absolutely been the toughest one I've ever done. I will tell you, I've worked real hard on this. I can't imagine anybody having to do this, Matt, again, and I just can't imagine. Marcia, you and I've done, this is probably my 15th budget, and this is absolutely one of the most heartbreaking and ones with the least amount of deal. Saying all that, I will tell you, I think we're going to be stronger. I think we're going to come out of this smarter, and we absolutely were prepared based on not doing the 33%, by doing the savings that we did. So we have the $5 million. We have the money in reserve in order to get through. And we feel like, I'm working on some separate projects that we feel like, will really, hopefully next month, I'll have some great news for you that we can, next couple of months that we can produce to help, get back on the step and also readjust what we come up when we close the budget. Okay, that's all I can say. I don't know what else to tell you. That's where I'm at. Once again, Marcia, thank you so much. Mr. Sandage.
I would like to say that each of the departments worked very, very hard on their expense line items to just trim what they could and see that we'd get by. And I'm very proud of them for working so hard on that for the department.
Well, and that's another point. The bottom line is hopefully the carry forward is going to be a lot better because these department heads we have communicated, Marcia, myself, and Matt, and Kent have communicated with Jason Duff, with Jeff Koba, with all these different people, with Ken Brown on savings, what we can do. So we're finishing up the projects we had in place, but we're also holding back on new projects. So going over some of these numbers, Marcia and I feel really good going in, but we don't know what the budget's going to end up with until the finalized in. So we've been working with these budgets, to help them finalize that. So we'll know more, and like Marcia said, everybody's worked real hard on this, trying to make this work. And this is just such a tough year. People can say what they want to. I'm just telling you right now, we're no different than any other business or anything else in the city of El Reno. Right. I sit on the Oklahoma Municipal Board, and other cities are absolutely in a lot worse state than what we are. And, we're in good shape. We just have to be responsible for the citizens and try to get these employees back. And my heart is absolutely, I don't think anybody questions where my heart, my loyalty is. My heart and my loyalty are to these employees and to the citizens of El Reno to make this work. With that, that's all I can do. All right, any other questions on the public hearing? Any other questions on the public hearing? All right. I now consider the public hearing closed. We'll move on to B, discussion, consideration, possible action to approve resolution 20-026, a resolution adopting the annual budget for the fiscal year 2020-21 and ending June 30th, 2021, and maintaining certain special funds, filling the adopted budget with interlocal agreement agencies, and providing for transfer of all funds.
Make a motion we approve.
I have a motion to approve the budget.
Second.
I have a second by Ryder. Roll call start with Robinson.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Cronister, Councilman Ballhorn,
Yes.
Councilwoman Ryder,
Yes.
Mayor White,
Yes. We'll go on to 8. Discussion, consideration, possible action regarding approval of contract employment with Mr. Matt Sandage to serve as city manager for the city of El Reno starting June the 1st.
For authority?
I got a motion for authority.
Second.
Second by Ballhorn. Roll call vote start with with Robinson.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Cronister, Councilman Ballhorn,
Yep.
Councilwoman Ryder,
Yes.
Mayor White,
Yes. We'll move on to 9. Discussion, consideration, possible action to purchase video storage server and related requirement software for the download storage of body worn and vehicle dash cams video for the police, the animal control, and marshal's office.
So moved?
I got a motion.
Second.
Second. Roll call vote start with Ballhorn.
Yes.
Councilman Robinson,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Cronister, Councilwoman Ryder,
Yes.
Mayor White,
Yes, we'll move on to discussion, consideration, possible action to approve an aviation education grant with Oklahoma Aeronautical Association to begin process a potential long-term annual program.
Per authority.
I have a motion per authority.
Second?
I got a second. Roll call vote start with Robinson.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Cronister, Councilman Ballhorn,
Yep.
Councilwoman Ryder,
Yes.
Mayor White,
Yes, we'll move on to 11. Discussion, consideration, possible action to enter into an agreement for the lease restaurant for bar space located at the golf course facility.
Per authority.
I have a motion per authority by Ballhorn.
Second?
Second by Ryder. Roll call vote start with Ryder.
Yes.
Councilman Robinson,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Cronister, Councilman Ballhorn,
Yes.
Mayor White,
Yes. We're going to 12, discussion various possible action to approve ordinance number 9227, ordinance amending the employee retirement system, defined contribution plan for the position of treasurer, clerk, HR director, utility superintendent, street superintendent eligible for employees of the city of El Reno, Oklahoma, pertaining to the definition of employee provided by employee pickup required by contributions provided for repeal and severability and declaring emergency.
Motion?
I got a motion.
Second?
I got a second. Roll call vote start with Robinson.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Cronister, Councilman Ballhorn,
Yes.
Councilwoman Ryder,
Yes.
Mayor White.
Yes.
Make a motion, we declare emergency.
I got a motion by declare emergency by Ballhorn.
Second?
Second by Robinson. Roll call vote start with Ryder.
Yes.
Councilman Robinson, Councilman Ballhorn,
Yep.
Vice Mayor Cronister, Mayor White.
Yes. All right. Presentation of financial reports. I think we absolutely beat the financial report to death. I say we don't even say anything about the financial report. All right. We'll move on to Bob. Do you have anything?
Not really. Got everything answered earlier.
Okay. Tracy.
I have something for all the citizens out there if you're listening. It's the city employees and the unions are doing their part, and it's time we do our part. I was at the lake on Saturday, and I was appalled at the filth at the lake and the trash. And these people are having to take furloughs, and we need to do our part in doing our stuff of picking up our trash. And just in that little island area, I picked up a bulging thing of trash from the weekend or from the night before, whenever it was. I mean, there is so much trash out there, and there's no excuse for it because there's trash cans sitting around. So everybody out there listening needs to do their part and pick up their junk. And I don't care if it's the lake or if it's the street or whatever, but quit laying it off on somebody else to do your work. And that's all I have.
Man.
I agree.
Wow. No, I totally agree with you, Councilwoman Ryder. I think it goes back to the point to where we do want to iterate, these employees, all the employees, fire, police, non-union, we're going to have to work harder. We need the citizens to help us with certain things.
Yeah.
We're not going to be able to just go up there and have someone tag me or anybody else saying, how come there's trash laying downtown? There's a cup I saw. We'll pick it up. I had one of the ladies downtown, the business lady, put on there that she's walked by the trash that's sitting beside her business that's been laying beside the trash dumpster for 2 weeks.
Well, I'm to the point.
Why would you not pick it up? I agree with you.
And I'm to the point of the question of, are there litter tickets anymore? Because something needs to be done. So, that's a question. I don't know.
No.
Let me remind you, a lot of the problem that we're having is if there's trash cans there, but there's no way with the winds we have. I went out there and picked trash cans up that's blown over. It happens on the football fields. It happens. These pink-lidded trash cans, there's no way to fasten them down. So when the wind gets up and it blows those over, they'd rather not get dumped. They're a great idea, but they don't work.
Well,
I don't have an answer for it because I looked into it. We absolutely have to have some dumpsters, but without them getting dumped daily, you're going to have that problem every time the winds get up and knock them over. I don't truly believe everybody's litter. I believe a lot of it is created by Mother Nature blowing them over.
Some of it.
yeah, I think it's a combination of both.
Yes.
But I will tell you this, Councilman Robinson, you brought a good point up. And we have worked and we've started implementing on the RV park side, and we're working our way around to all the park systems. We're installing T-posts and tying them to the T-posts that we've installed in there. We'll try to get with Mr. Koba and Kit Legali's in charge of it now. We're going to try to get T-posts on all those cans to tie them up to do that. The problem is people go out there and use those things. Like you said, they're taking bags of trash out there because they got extra trash out there to the deal. We're trying to get through that process. So I'll talk about that in a minute, but the trash day. But I do feel like that we need to do both. And you are right, Councilman Robinson. I think if we use those T-posts and try to secure those, that's some of the problem. And I think, Ms. Ryder, you're right also. People have to pick the trash up and be stewards.
Yeah, it's not your trash. Just
Yep.
pick it up.
Yeah. Okay, Councilman Robinson, do you have anything else?
No.
Not after that.
I mean, I think he's right, you know, I think a lot of that is the process. Okay, I guess it's my turn. We're not wearing a mask, I'm not wearing a mask because there's nobody in here, and I don't think you can hear me, but we have been wearing a mask, everybody's been doing a real good job with that. We are opening El Reno back up, you know, basically, we've done everything on the governor's timeline. We're trying to get everything on the right step to move forward, to go forward with opening El Reno up, to jump on Mr. Ryder. And I know everybody feels the same way, Mr. Robinson, Bob. I think the bottom line is we have to shop in El Reno. We have to help support these businesses, whether it be downtown, whether it be Walmart, whether it be Raw's Seed and Feed. Every business we're going to have to support the best we can to help support ourselves. I will tell you, we're moving forward. We're finishing a lot of projects up. I feel good about everything. We're trying to do the best we can. We're running into the summer months. The permits on the permitting side are keeping a steady stream, so I feel confident about that. I will tell you, I think the cleanup day, we didn't have one day, we had a full week. And we had it out there at Gene Simmons. We had a little hiccup for a couple of days. We had a backup. But David Griesel and I and Matt, we're going to have an ad come out and tell you, but we'll go ahead and spoil it. How many dumpsters, or how many tons did we go through, Matt? 320 tons of trash over that week. And we never have done that before.
And just to think it was scattered around town.
Yep. And let's go over a couple other things. You know, we haven't done cutoffs because of the COVID, and we haven't issued tickets. We wrote some people to tell people to help get up. We are going to start that process back next month because we got to get back in the group. So the first, tickets will be issued, tall grass, everything else. We're trying to get people time to work. We did things like that in order to clean up El Reno and give them an opportunity to do that. We think the week long, that was kind of Matt and I's idea to get that week long process because of our communication with the citizens and the code enforcement of saying, we need to have another day. So we really feel like we might even do that again, to have that instead of just one day, to have that process go over there to help clean that up. We want to provide those services in order to do that. So in spending what the money we spent, it was basically what it would cost for us tearing down a couple of different houses of that. And Mr. Dyer's paper showed someone putting a boat in one of the dumpsters. So that was, I never have seen that before. So we really cleaned up El Reno. We're really trying to do that.
And the people who were working out there from the OEMA were so kind and helpful for the whole process. They did a great job.
And we had city employees out there also.
Yes.
So both people that did that, and we also had some junk people that were doing on the side that were helpful to take some of the materials that saved us money from the landfill that they put on their trailers in order to take to the scrap, which we didn't care. We didn't care what they did. That's great. So what a great process it worked through. Once again, I don't have much, but I do want to tell you, I appreciate everybody's help. We're trying to do our best. We're going to do better. I want to get this money back to these employees. I want to try to hire everybody back. I don't see they'll do that. I can't read that.
Garage sales.
Okay, and so we're going to try to get that deal done in order to do that. So I do think working with Marcia and Matt, we're going to try to do that. I do have a plan coming up. Not all the dots have been covered, but I'm using all my political strength on the federal level that I hopefully will be sharing with you in a couple of months. We are utilizing everything we can on COVID. Another thing we got coming up, we will start garage sales back. You can come get a permit for garage sale starting this Friday because it's part of the process of opening back El Reno. But we do have the garage sale, citywide garage sale that you do not need a permit for. And that will start, Lindsay, the June the 12th through the 14th. So it's basically that Friday, Saturday, and Sunday that you do not need a permit. That's a town-wide garage sale. We're going to try to put ads in the newspaper, and then we're going to have other ads in surrounding areas to get people in town to put in there. So we really suggest we had our trash super trash day last week, last month. Now hopefully this coming month, you can get more stuff and make some extra cash and get rid of it and clean some things out. And we hope a lot of the homeowners associations get together and have their townwide. And what you do is contact us through the service, and we'll list all the addresses for free in advertisement in the newspaper and on Facebook of all of the different either homeowners associations or areas and your addresses through the permit, so you don't have to have your address down. So we'll list. You'll get free advertisement that we're going to present through the Tribune and our social media to get rid of more junk. So once again, I know it's been a tough time. We appreciate everybody. We appreciate everybody trying to be understanding in this part of it. And like I said, we appreciate everybody wearing their masks at that point in time. We got to get El Reno back up, and we got to move forward. So, and I think we're doing that, and we're on track. Any other questions? All right, we'll go on to H, executive session. Consider and convene an executive session pursuant to Title 25, Oklahoma State Statute, Section 307B2, discuss proposal of labor agreements, memorandum of understanding between the City of El Reno and the Fraternal Order of Police, Lodge Number 151, for the current financial year 2019-2020 and fiscal year 2020-21, and return an open session for formal approval of labor agreement and the MOU, Memo of Understanding. Number 15, consider executive session, Title 25, Oklahoma State Statute, Section 307B2, discussion proposed labor agreement and memorandum of understanding between the City of El Reno, International Association of Firefighters, the Local 2367, for the current fiscal year 2019-20 and fiscal year 2020-21, and return an open session for formal approval of the labor agreement, memorandum, MOU of understanding. And number 16, convene an executive session pursuant to Oklahoma State Statutes 25, Section 307B4, to discuss tort claim against the City of El Reno, received of OG&E 207788-DD, and to reconvene in open session for formal action to said claim. Do I have a motion to go into executive session?
So moved.
I got a motion by Ryder. I got a second by Ballhorn. Roll call, start with Robinson.
Vice Mayor Cronister? Councilman Ballhorn?
Yep.
Councilman Ryder?
Yes.
Mayor White?
Yes. All right, we'll be right back. I need a motion to come back to reconvene to open session. So moved. I got a motion to come back to executive session by Councilman Ballhorn.
Second.
Second by Councilwoman Ryder. Roll call start with Councilman Robinson.
Good.
Vice Mayor Cronister? Councilman Ballhorn?
Yes.
Councilman Ryder?
Yes.
Mayor White?
Yes. We'll go on to 14. To consider signing and authorizing the mayor to authorize mayor, city manager to sign all documents, agreements between the FOP Fraternal Police Lodge Number 151 for the current fiscal year of 2019 to 2020 and the next fiscal year 2020-21, and also sign a labor agreement of memorandum of understanding, MOU.
I'll make a motion, we accept.
I have a motion by Ballhorn to accept. A second. Roll call vote start with Ryder.
Yes.
Councilman Robinson?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Cronister? Councilman Ballhorn?
Yes.
Mayor White?
Yes. Move on to 15. Consider reconvening an executive session pursuant to 25, Oklahoma State Statute, Section 307B. Proposed labor agreement, basically to authorize the mayor / city manager, acting city manager, to sign an agreement with International Association of Firefighters, Local 2367, for the current fiscal year of 2019 and 20, and the next fiscal year of 2020-21, and also to give the approval for the labor agreement of the MOU, Memorandum of Understanding.
I make a motion, we accept that one too, please.
Council Ballhorn makes a motion we accept. I second that motion. Roll call vote start with Ryder.
Yes.
Councilman Robinson?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Cronister? Councilman Ballhorn?
Yep.
Mayor White?
Yes, we'll go on to, the other one we went into executive for was the claim to discuss a claim against received OG&E, 207788-DD.
I make a motion to deny the tort claim?
Have a motion by Councilwoman Ryder to deny a tort claim. Second by Councilman Ballhorn. Roll call vote start with Councilman Robinson.
Vice Mayor Cronister, Councilman Ballhorn,
Yes.
Councilwoman Ryder,
Yes.
Mayor White,
Yes. Motion for adjournment.
Second?
Have a motion and a second. Roll call vote start with, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
We're adjourned. Thank you.